To find warmer temperatures, sometimes you got to go out west. And I want to bring in my colleague. Brandon Cruz is joining me from Phoenix, Arizona, where the Brewers have just kicked off their spring training. Hey, Brandon, thanks for joining us here on the Wisconsin Live Desk.
Yeah, it's good. It's great to be out here. It's funny that you guys have the Phoenix-like weather, and I mean, it's very similar. We're in the high 60s, and it's supposed to rain tonight, so I feel like we're all kind of meeting at the same spot right now.
Yeah, well, we're going to go downhill, though, before. I know it's supposed to rain for you a little bit, but I think it'll be a little bit warmer for you out there. All right, so you're back at Brewers spring training. The Brewers had the best record in baseball all of last year and then couldn't really get to the World Series. And there's already been a bunch of moves in the offseason. So what are the players saying out of the gate here as some new players are coming in and a lot of old players are there?
Yeah, I think it's just, it's a renewal of a ritual. Everybody knows what spring training is. It's all the same, even though you have different guys and you have kind of a different approach. It's a new team. They still do remember what happened last year. The guys that were here, talking today with Christian Yelich, he was talking about how that one just, it sticks with you. You remember it, but it's what happened last year, and they will try to build from that, obviously. And he had a perspective, too, where he was talking about how special that year was. Even though they didn't get to where they wanted, the uniqueness of that season and the connection that team had with the city of Milwaukee and the Brewers fans, he thought was just a wonderful experience. And then talking with other players, they said, it's kind of like, that was last year. We're worried about this year. And some say, it was an ending that ended so fast we weren't necessarily thinking that it would happen that way. So when you look back at that, there's some mixed feelings about the way the season ended. Remember, they did go to the NLCS. They weren't bounced in their first series. They beat the Cubs. And now you have new guys coming in. There have been some trades. The biggest, of course, being Freddie Peralta being sent to the Mets, and that brought Jet Williams and Brandon Sproat here. I was able to talk to both of those guys. They do know who they're replacing in terms of a presence in that clubhouse. But it's also a chance for them to have a shot at the big league club and to know that they might be able to contribute right away. So it is fun that way. The other part about that for these guys, they were saying, is just how nice everybody is, how easy it is to try to learn things here and ask guys things. And that, to me, is a good sign of a team trying to start to build an identity.
So Caleb Durbin gets dealt to the Red Sox. I know one of the big questions for spring training for the Brewers, who's going to play third base?
I'm going to have to say right now it's a guy named Luis Rengifo. They just picked him up. He's a free agent. He'd played the last 7 years in Anaheim. He's officially going to be here, I think, tomorrow. They didn't have him around yet, but he does have a locker in there. So when you look at that, I think because he has 7 years experience at the big league level, is the guy that's the front runner for that job. But you look at David Hamilton, who's here now. You also have, like I said, Jet Williams, who's a highly touted prospect, and you would think that he might get a shot. And if he doesn't make the opening day roster, I would think that Williams might see the big leagues earlier rather than later this coming season. But if you're going to look at just third base alone, I'd put your money on Luis Rengifo.
Oh, man, okay. So that's the battle. So what's it like? These are my favorite days of spring training. Before the games begin, the players just show up. They've obviously, a lot of them work out in Phoenix, so it's just like, okay, we just go to the facility now. But they're so relaxed on these days. What's it been like going into the clubhouse today?
Yeah, it is relaxed. I mean, I got here yesterday. We talked to a number of guys, saw some bullpens, but it is like, and there aren't many fans here just yet. The full team officially reports here tomorrow, and that's kind of when the fans start to pick up, and then the games start on Saturday. So that's the next step. So quickly this week there will be change and an incremental build to what's happening here, but these guys are just relaxed, and I think right now just kind of renewing acquaintances. If they weren't hanging out in the off season, they're seeing each other for the first time since October, and it's a special time that way, and guys trying to just get used to the routine, the rhythm of spring training, and all of that. And I think that's what we're seeing right now is, a number of position players have reported early. Like you said, they're already here in Phoenix, so why not be at the facility working out here and being around the teammates? And that is what is kind of building this team camaraderie. And as you know from being here yourself, that's what this is about too. Yes, you're going to go through the on-field stuff, but it's that time in the clubhouse, it's that time away from the field together that helps build a team that wins.
So have we heard from the bosses? I know Mark Attanasio, the owner, usually has a press conference to kick things off as they're working on things behind you, I can hear. Pat Murphy, have we heard from him yet?
Yeah, I spoke with him this morning. We were in his office and just talking, the normal daily stuff. You ask him anything, and he'll talk about it. He talked about how he sleeps. We were asked, we asked him as a group about sleeping, and he says he doesn't need a whole lot. He's a good sleeper. He likes to wake up early and then spend time with his kids, and then go about his work, and that's kind of how he does it. And so we've heard from him. I don't know what the owner Mark Attanasio's schedule is. Normally he speaks on the first or second day after the whole team is reported officially, so that would be Tuesday or Wednesday this week if he comes down here and does that. I did speak with Matt Arnold yesterday, the team's GM. He's excited about what's going on. In fact, he has his son down here who has to go back tonight and go back to school tomorrow. So I was talking to his son. He was kind of bummed that, middle school's starting back up again tomorrow after this holiday weekend. But, yeah, so the upper echelon of management is getting ready, is here. And, you can see their presence all around the field as guys are working out. And right now it's mainly pitchers and catchers.
I think Murph told me last year it's like he gets up at like 4:30 in the morning or something ridiculous that I was like, geesh.
Yeah, he's just a guy, he just kind of he's got energy, he feels good, and he said, yeah, he sleeps well, he doesn't move a lot. He told us he doesn't move a lot, or he's a quiet sleeper. So be that as it may. That's funny.
Well, it'd be interesting if the owner comes out and talks too, because I remember last year he said some words that really came back to bite him when basically people were questioning if he really wants to win because of some of the comments he said to the newspaper reporters. I learned that from going out in spring training, that the newspaper reporters get to have like a session with him, but they don't let the cameras on. It's kind of weird how that works out. So we'll see if the owner comes out and says some things, because a lot of people are wondering, not this year, but in future years, labor negotiations are going to come up. And when you see like the Dodgers get Kyle Tucker, and they just seem to get the best players every single year, do small market teams like Milwaukee even stand a chance to make it and win a World Series? That's got to be part of the conversation of this season, right?
Yeah, I think that's something he will address, or if he does come down. Some years he doesn't, but yeah, there will be labor talks between the Players Union and Major League Baseball going on. You'd hope as a fan that they're starting that now, because their collective bargaining agreement ends at the end of this season. So with the big difference in the way teams pay their salaries, like you mentioned, the Dodgers way outspending everybody else. The Brewers obviously on the much smaller end in Major League Baseball. So those two teams reach the NLCS, and then the Dodgers move on. So there is a way, he would argue, I'm sure, and he'll talk about this and has in the past, that his way of doing it works fine for this team and makes them a team that has a legitimate shot. Others would argue, well, you don't have that because you don't have the best players every single time. So, the one thing that they've done well with their money and the way they spend it is building from the minor league system. And you've seen these guys come up and really make impacts on the Brewers team at young ages. And then they play for a while here. And then, like Freddie Peralta, for instance, he gets traded in the offseason, so they were able to get something for him. So it's a weird balance, and that's a problem that Major League Baseball is trying to address. Are they going to be able to convince the Players Association of having a salary cap? That's always been a hard no from the Players Association. So we'll see how this goes. I think this is the conversation that it has to go the owner's way if they ever want to have a salary cap. I think it would have to happen in this session as opposed to down the line. I think if they lose that in this negotiation, I don't think they ever get it back.
Yeah, and we'll see, because, I mean, the word that nobody wants to say has been floated out there amongst people. That's strike, and we don't want to lose any baseball games because we love having you back at spring training. So many storylines. Mizorowski with a full year. You're talking about the young players, and here some of them are going to get hopefully a full season. The new guys. I love all of it, and I love that you're there. The only other storyline I'm following is your photographer Jared going to get in a pool when it's in the upper 60s, which is not hot in Phoenix?
Yeah, I will let you know. We can keep this up. I'm sure we're going to talk more through the week, and he might be out in the pool the next time we talk. We'll see, but I will keep you updated on his well-being here in the Valley of the Sun.
The minute he takes his shirt off and jumps in the pool, let us know, and we will take that as breaking news live. Brandon Cruz, out in Phoenix with the Brewers. Thanks, Brandon, for coming on the Wisconsin Live Desk. Appreciate it. Know how busy you are with all those interviews you have gotten. Pretty awesome stuff. Thanks, Brandon.
All right, thank you. We'll see you soon.
We'll see you soon.